Howdy. This is the rather manly topic that classical guitarists occasionally need to talk about, is nails. And I just wanted to share with you what I do with my nails. So I'll start with the implements, and the first one off the rank is the files, and I have a bunch of files. The first one is a metal file, and that's being used because I need to sometimes chop away a whole lot of nail, or I need to cut away plastic. Particularly this is good for plastic, because the plastic will melt as you're filing away at it, particularly different types of plastics in fake nails, and they will clog up the pores of your much more expensive fine nails. So I've got a stone one here, and that's like 20 bucks, and then I've got a glass one here which is like $16. So not exactly cheap. You don't want to go wasting them away on because you use plastic on it. You might be able to see that little white line running down the middle of it. That's happened because of plastic. So that file is basically dead now. I'm very sad. So the file is basically shape, but you may wish to cut away more at a time. I have little cuticle scissors, which have been pretty good. These are flat type ones, flat shape. So they're not curved, because you don't always want to make a curve. So I prefer to use a flat one. Here is a clipper. I've read somewhere online that some guitarists reckon that it damages the nail using these. I think it's a bit hocus pocus, but anyway. And these are tweezers, which I use for gluing. I hold glue bits of nail and also plastic together using these tweezers. When I'm gluing fake nails, just have a stick handy. They come from guitaristnails, I think, .com. That's just for brushing bits of plastic and nail off of my implements, and a marker for marking on the fake nail exactly where I want to cut. So, also on top of that is a buffer. Buffer's important because after you've done all your shaping and carving and cutting, probably in the other order, cutting and then shaping, you then need to buff the nail. Now you can do it a couple of ways. One is you can use fine sandpapers, and this one here is called wet and dry, and you can basically wet it, or you can have it dry, and it will shave it away nice and smoothly. There's all different grades you can get. It works really well once it's wet, and that's pretty good. But what's even better is this expensive product called micro mesh, and this is the stuff that they use to polish the windows of fighter jets. Pretty cool, hey? And the reason they polish the windows is because as they're flying at Mach whatever speed, little bits of dust hit the window and scratch on the window, and eventually it damages the vision the pilot's going to see. So they use this special cloth to clean those windows and buff them back to a nice clear shine. And this works exceptionally well on nails for making your nails sound smooth and glassy feeling, so you're not feeling any roughness as you play the string. So here we go to the liquids, and I've got this Japanese glue which I found works and I have access to. You may find a different glue. Steer away from cheaper plain old super glue. It tends not to work. Better off going with something that people recommend, because otherwise you'll be wasting your money. And this is called Revita Nail, and I don't use it very often, but sometimes when I feel like it, I just use it. It's just a coating thing. It's supposed to make your nail better. Does it work? Probably not. But it just makes me feel better knowing that I'm looking after my nails sometimes. This is, what's that say? It says Mavala Scientific Nail Hardener. Nail hardener. Scientific? Maybe. It's a nail hardener, obviously. Does it work? I've found a slight difference. For the price I paid, I was probably wasting my money. Okay, now on to the fake nails. Now there's several products I want to talk about. So let's go through stages. So the first thing really is what type of damage or nail you're going to do. So if you've got a small chip and you've got the original nail, what I find works fairly well is silk wrap. So this is not fiberglass wrap, it's silk wrap, and I will apply 2 bits of this to each teared nail. So as long as you've got the original nail, this works. If you don't have the original nail, this won't work. It'd be way too flimsy. So what I do is I cut out the shape I need, and then it's got a sticky backing, which is handy, and then I gently place it on without stretching the fibres too far apart by accident, which sometimes happens, and then I glue on top of it, and then I place the next piece that's the same shape on top of that and glue that, and then I shave that down to a smoother finish. That works pretty well if you just don't want to do a patch up, but it won't feel amazing, but it does an okay job. It really depends where the tear is. If the tear is anywhere away from your attacking angle of the nail, say on my hand here, that's the attacking angle that you're seeing badly, sorry about the light, seeing badly now. This is the attacking angle. If it's on there, it won't work. If it's somewhere else, like on the non-attacking angle on this side, then it'll work okay. It just stops it from tearing any further, basically. Sorry about my focus. Anyway, so then we go on to the products which create whole nails. Now the ones that people are probably more familiar with is stuff like this, which is the Kmart type nail. This one here is from Aria Pro, or Aria. If you're into electric guitars, you probably know of this brand. They're Japanese. They produce different size nails. 0 goes from 20 millimeters, and it goes all the way through to 14 millimeters, which is number 6. So it goes different sizings, and I found that my middle finger, which is my largest, is the 0, and my I finger and my A finger are number 1, and I guess that makes my pinky is probably going to be somewhere like 3 or 4. I don't think I'll find a use for 2, but I bought it anyway. And this is the product. I'll show you what it does. Basically, it's already pre-shaped like a Kmart nail, and it's made of basically the same plastic, which kind of annoys me because everybody talks about this stuff on the forums, and it seems as though Aria haven't listened to them, that this type of plastic just doesn't really work. But it's okay as a fix, if you're waiting to grow your nail out and you just need a nail. This glues on really well because of the shape. It just goes bang straight on your nail, and it's done. You've just got to carve it into shape. So that's its benefit. That it's really easy to apply, really quick. But the only poor point of it is that it's a type of plastic which melts easy, which means you can damage the nail during the buffing process. And the other downside it has is it sounds generally a bit dull. And I'll just demonstrate that. I'm not sure if it'll come up on the audio, but here's my A finger, which is natural nail, and here is my M finger after it, which is the fake Kmart type Aria nail. Real nail, fake nail. See how it sounds a bit duller? And it's also a bit scratchy. So it isn't wonderful, but it's okay. The next products are the stuff that's available from the guitarist nails, which I got that glue stick from, and they're pretty good. It's called Instant Nail, and they have 3 versions. There's Instant Nail 1, Instant Nail 2, and CR. And I've been using CR lately, and CR makes a wonderful crisp sound. It'll make your guitar sound like a little bit more modern sounding. Like there's a little bit more sort of high end happening, which is quite a pleasant sound. This is more of a traditional sound, but just like the Kmart type nails, it is a little bit thick, a little bit dull sounding. So there's not quite enough high happening on Instant Nail 1 and 2, whereas CR has a lovely treble character. It doesn't sound like your nail, but excuse me, it does have a very nice treble character to it. I'm quite pleased with its sound. The flaw of this system is 2 things. One is when you curve it to shape it to any type of nail, it develops fracture lines, and those fracture lines become more pronounced the more you curve it. And as you're playing your fake nail, you will feel these tiny little microscopic, thinner than a hair width fracture lines, and they are kind of annoying, and they can slightly affect the sound, and you'll need to polish them out. And they will pop back in again and every now and then. Also, the product does tend to degrade very quickly, so within a year I found my little strips within a year will develop fracture lines through them without being curved. So that's another thing to think about. So it's, yeah, if I could somehow get these guys to marry this type of plastic, the CR, with the very common sense making it into a curved shape during the moulding process so the plastic doesn't break, that would make a lot of people happy, I think. So hopefully they're going to watch this. The last thing, this is also from Guitarist Nails, is ping pong balls. And this is not really a secret or anything. This is very well known for a long time. Ping pong ball is actually what I found personally to be the most nail-like fake nail substance. And it's already curved. But that doesn't mean it's not fiddly. Here it is. And what happens is, if you apply glue to it, say the same amount of glue you would normally use on any other product, it melts the ping pong ball material. It just melts it and it turns into a mushy rubber type substance. So absolutely useless. What you have to do is get well practiced at applying a small amount of glue to the product so that it doesn't melt it but will still be strong enough to stick it. And that is a little balancing act. Though I did achieve it on the first time I tried it. So, I think if I got it on the first time I tried it, most people will get it. The other thing is, unlike this one, which is really nail shaped, this Kmart style stuff, this has to be cut just like the CR stuff does and the instant nail strips. Excuse me. Because it has to be cut, it is fiddly and it is annoying. The other thing is too, sorry, it's got another flaw, and that is that it's thinner than my nail. At least in flexibility wise, it's a little bit too flexible. And though it sounds a lot like a real nail, heaps like a real nail actually, it's just too flimsy. So what I have to do is I have to glue two bits of it together. So this is what I'll make one strip of a nail out of, which is I think it's a quarter. It's a quarter of the top sphere half. So I cut it in half, and then I've got four pieces like this out of it. And then the two of those pieces will be joined together, and so then two on the other side will make another nail. So roughly I'm getting 2 to 3 nails out of each half of the sphere, which is not too bad considering they're only like 95 cents. But it is fiddly, it takes time. You have to glue two pieces together, so you've got to wait extra time for that glue to work. It also discolours the product. The product turns a yellow colour, and it looks really ugly, so people are more likely to ask you, what the hell is that on your finger? Which is always an annoying question for a bloke. Whereas this stuff, once you glue it, my glue turns a foggy white. You can see it there, foggy white. That's not too bad. You might just say, I've been painting. Then people will probably leave you alone. Hopefully they do. Anyway, so they're my thoughts on a bunch of products. There may be other products out there. If anyone knows of other stuff they want to write it down, put it on the message thing. And I'm eager to learn off you. If you have any experience with any products or any other products, or how to apply products, let me know, because I've been breaking a lot of nails lately and it's starting to really annoy the crap out of me. Alright, cool, signing off. Bye bye.